Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to AWS On Air. My name is Chad Lacey. I'm a global sales strategist for AWS, and I am joined by a group of my friends from Sensedia, Ken and Felipe. Gentlemen, welcome to the show. We're glad to have you.
Thanks, Chad. Thanks very much for having us. Hello,
Yeah.
everyone. My name is Ken Ballou. I'm a director with Sensedia. I'm responsible for our banking and financial services initiatives here in the US. I've been in the software industry for about 25, 30 years, mainly focused on banking and financial services clients around the globe.
Hello, everybody. Super nice to be here. Very excited. So my name is Felipe Turqueto. I'm the head of solutions in Sensedia, responsible for USA market. And well, I have 13 years software developer experience, mostly actually developing APIs in the meantime. So super nice to be here.
Well, gentlemen, it's great to have you both on the show. I know you've got some exciting stuff to show us, and we're going to get into a technical demo a little later, which everybody loves to see. We love to see the tech, right? But before we get there, why don't we just set the landscape for everybody who's watching? Where in the industry does Sensedia fit in?
So that's a great question, Chad. So like many of us who are on this call today, I've been in this industry for a long time, and I've seen the evolution and adoption of a wide range of different technologies as they become available, right? Think of it as like the latest fashions in technology, right? So as these technologies are adopted, they move the circle further out, right? And I think the way I see Sensedia positioned in relation to this today is, I'd say this: I no longer see us as an industry participating in what we call the app economy, right? I see us living in the connected systems economy driven by APIs. So we no longer talk about digital transformation. We're now talking about digital acceleration, increasing the adoption of technologies, right? So Sensedia exists in this paradigm as providing a centrally managed API tool, platform, where a client can manage all of the various APIs and the connectivity from a range of different systems in one location, right? And do this in a way that's in alignment with governance and regulatory compliance, and managing it like the way, managing it from a lifecycle perspective, the way we talk about the application lifecycle. So the three main use cases we talk about are clients who are delivering a better digital experience for their clients, like digital banking apps are a great example, right? Or ecosystem initiatives where clients trying to have a better customer experience or an accelerated experience for a customer, where customers, merchants, banks or finance organizations and partners are all collaborating around a single experience, right? Or the last one, and I think this is really important in the context of our relationship, is clients who are moving away from legacy systems or legacy applications, embracing cloud technologies and accelerated vehicles such as cloud. So in those scenarios, we provide a platform that allows for a simple migration to support that, again, in a way that's safe and secure and reliable.
That's awesome. So I got to catch that phrase again. You said we're not talking about digital transformation anymore. It's digital. What'd you say?
Digital acceleration.
I love that. I'm stealing it.
Yeah, oh, yeah, please.
Because we've seen a lot of times, companies can create like a platform or an ecosystem, and those who really adopt the APIs and see their whole platform expand in ways that they haven't even thought about it, right?
Absolutely.
So I think it's great. So in light of the changes that you're seeing happening today, how do Sensedia and AWS help?
So in light of that, think about it now. It's about how do we provide better customer experiences faster, right? The partnership with AWS, between AWS and Sensedia, really supports that idea by providing advanced technologies that allow clients to accelerate digital experiences, through one cohesive relationship. And on top of that, Sensedia as a technology is available to current AWS clients through the AWS marketplace.
We lost Ken.
Nope, that was my fault. Stand by. Click the wrong button.
Okay. I do that all the time.
Well, that's great, Ken. So is there a profile of a customer that benefits from this teaming of cloud adoption, API strategy, and digital acceleration?
So, Chad, it's a little hard to just pin it down to one kind of customer or one kind of vertical industry, right? Again, think about it. This is sort of an industry movement across a range of different verticals, right? But some of the things that really jump out at us are in the banking industry, we see the wide adoption of banking as a service that drives velocity into loan origination or auto loans or mortgages. In the insurance industry, we see a wide adoption of insurance as a service, right? Which allows for faster policy administration or claims administration. Retail, healthcare, logistics, all of these industries are benefiting from better, faster, more effective, more efficient, connected experiences for our customer. Again, driving velocity into the things we do.
That's fantastic, Ken. And you've explained the business side of what Sensedia is doing to help out customers very well. So I want to kind of move over to Felipe real quick. Given what Ken has described, a more centralized API strategy seems to be essential. I know you were getting ready to get into the technical demo, but can you show us a practical application for how your technology is used, how customers are using it today?
Oh yeah, the tech stuff. So let's go. And it's not a PPT demo, okay? I promise it's just one slide to just show you guys what exactly we're talking about behind the scenes. Okay?
Yeah, we want to see the real tech, but that's fine. If you want to set up the baseline
let's
for
set
us.
up the scene first.
Yeah.
So what you guys are seeing here is our ecosystem, okay? Is our platform. So we are sitting in the middle of the API teams and your consumers, API consumers, of course, and legacy systems, microservices, and the other stuff that you actually need to consume, of course. But, well, we are a full lifecycle API management, right? So this is the excitement part. So it's not just an API gateway, right? So we have a bunch of components here. And let me just explain the first one, right? Our API Studio Manager, right? So our customers today are doing a lot of APIs. When I mean a lot, it's hundreds, thousands. So API full lifecycle management with a bunch of APIs. So how we can help? So this is the face of our tool. This is our API Studio Manager behind the scenes. And this is the face of the API inside our tool, right? So what you can see here is everything related to your integration, actually. The maturity level within the integration, base path, versioning, revisioning, the responsible of the API, which team this API remains on, and a bunch of things. Of course, the deployment perspective, right? We need to deploy this API. The resources of the API itself and the flow, which is the meaty part that I'm going to cover in just a minute. Okay, just bear with me. So right here, you can check, create your APIs, you can manage your APIs, you can do the magic behind the scenes, right? So it's pretty solid. Another thing which is pretty cool, as you guys can see here, I have a workflow, right? So how can I actually guarantee that my APIs will follow my standards, my company standards, right? So security, the maturity level of the API itself. So how exactly I can actually bring this to all my developers, right? So at the end of the day, there's a bunch of people developing APIs and integrations for me to be successful, for the business to be successful, right? So we have a ways to guarantee that workflow will be managed by you and for you inside our adaptive governance framework, of course. This is one example, and you can manage your entire workflow, okay? One very cool thing to say, everything that I can manage in the front end is also available throughout our APIs behind the scenes. It's an API to create an API, right? It's weird, but it happens. And you can manage also throughout our CLI versioning also, okay? So this is the first component, right? Our API Studio Manager for the developers and the API creation, right? Another very cool thing is, okay, I'm developing a bunch of APIs. So what about, right? So we need to consume those APIs, right? Partners, customers, whatever the case is. Our platform comes alongside our developer portal. It's a full customizable tool, right? So you can customize whatever the look and feel you want. Of course, this is just an example. And here, I can check the entire API documentation, static, you can provide new docs, you can provide whatever you want. But the cool thing is, if you can see here, my account API, it's the same API that I show you guys here. So sorry about the tabs, too much tabs. But as you can see, it's the same API I'm talking about, right? and I can see the entire documentation, including a try it out, right? But where exactly this come from? It's automatic. So just clicking this button, show the interactive documentation, and add a tryout, choosing the environment, of course, and the revision that you want to try out, of course. And here we go, like magic, your API documentation will appear here, but also this tool you can manage your static documentation, for example, how you authorize, how you secure your APIs, whatever the case is. This is the very good point. And also you can go ahead and authorize even inside the API portal. So this is a very powerful and integrated tool, right? Okay, I'm just talking about the magic of the management of the APIs, but where's API Gateway? Okay, API Gateway is working behind the scenes, like I showed you guys in the architecture perspective. Although, let's talk a little bit about our API Gateway, okay? Back to the slides just a little bit, I promise. Our API Gateway behind the scenes, the brain behind the scenes, of course. So we have extra capability to boost this guy a little bit, okay? I don't have the databases, but I'm going to tell you guys what we can do. For example, you have database behind the scenes and you need to expose it using APIs. We have a connector capability that you can do out of the box. And one super cool stuff that we have in our API management capability is caching. Imagine a legacy system, right? Huge legacy one that you need to put on top of an API layer and put the cache inside to protect this a little bit, right? This is, you also can manage by our API Gateway. But the most powerful and cool thing that I want to show you guys, and I left this to the end, is this functionality right here. So how I actually can put this tool to work. So right here, we have a bunch of drag and drop capabilities. So this is the flow of the API, right? So left to right, in the top, you have the request, top to bottom. Here, right to the left, you have the response capability. So you can manage everything throughout request and response until you reach your backend. So as you guys can see in this example, I have a bunch of things: rate limiting, log obfuscation, logging perspectives. Oh, I want to add authentication and authorization capability. Okay, drag and drop and just choose your OAuth flow, right? And the credentials will be managed inside this tool also with our plans and with our apps capabilities behind the scenes. We have other capabilities like you guys are seeing, SQL threat protections, well, you name it. But the point is, this is a very cool and powerful way for you to manage, for example, non-functional requirements in your APIs, right? We have this a lot, and we are saving a lot of time from your developer's perspective, right? So this is a super cool functionality. This is the most cool perspective of the functionality of your platform, right? So this is the Sensedia platform in a nutshell in 5 minutes, of course, right? So this is our platform in a nutshell.
That's really cool, Felipe. I appreciate that. And this what you got on there at the end, the drag and drop part of it, like I can think back in the day just trying to set up OAuth.
Using a framework, right? So
that would have taken a lot of time, right? And you guys have just made that drag and drop now. That's super cool. That is awesome. So Ken, I want to get back to you real quick. Can you help the audience understand, maybe describe a relevant customer scenario for this? So like, give me an example.
Certainly, Chad. So we have numbers of different client use cases available, but I think the one that really speaks to today's discussion and is relevant to the paradigm we're describing on a going forward basis is Topazio Bank, or Banco de Topazio, right? In a nutshell, what Topazio has done is they're a classic commercial bank. They've completely changed their business management process, their go-to-market strategy, their business model, to embrace banking as a service in the way that I described earlier, and in relation to a range of smaller fintech companies, about 80 or 90 of them. So now Banco de Topazio Bank now acts as a banking as a service backend. And as a result of this new model, they've taken loan processing, loan origination from 120 loans a month to 65,000 loans a month. Wow. By embracing Sensedia as part of this ecosystem approach.
That is super cool.
Yeah.
I mean, and just I got to applaud you guys for how easy you've made it for customers to be able to do their API management and do it at scale. This is fantastic. All right, Ken, I appreciate that information. Before we go, in case anybody wants to get more information about Sensedia, how can they get in touch with you?
So that's a great question, Chad. Thank you very much. Well, we've really enjoyed the opportunity to be here with everyone today. What I would say is for more information, you'll see a QR code on the screen right now. Please feel free to click on that. You'll be taken to a landing page as part of the Sensedia website. There you'll be able to get an abundance of additional information about the technology. There's a self-assessment capability, so you can look at your project. Think of it as current state in relation to intended state survey, and you can get a sense of where you are on your journey. You can also schedule a demo for the Sensedia technology, like what you saw today from Takeda, but more customized, more in line with your requirements. Of course, there's an opportunity for you to contact us. We'd welcome the opportunity to speak further about your projects, how we may be able to help. So again, thank you all very much.
That's great, Ken. Guys, I really appreciate you both being on the show and sharing information about Sensedia. Obviously, what you guys are doing is hugely important for a lot of our customers. And I also want to thank everybody else for tuning in. This has been AWS On Air.